my little angel. Iko says, Mom, I love this couch. I agree with everybody that said not to get rid of it. Couch has been a hot topic. I love it. Okay, load up. Load up. Good girl. We're gonna let Iko run to the bathroom and chat with you guys about our new build.
Come on.
Good girl. You're a good boat dog. So we've come to the marina here because we figured it was a little better than a piece of paper at home because we have some drawings that we want to show you guys. Mr. Teacher Brandon here is going to be explaining what we got going on. We like the marina, huh? Yay! Real quick, just want to give a little bit of foundational information because I know not everybody here is familiar with Fontana Lake. All these floating cabins are grandfathered in, so there are no more allowed, and if you want one or want to build a new one, you still have to start with an existing structure. When you renovate or rebuild, there's a lot of regulations that need to be followed, so we're going to talk about some of those today.
Alright, I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible. This is the paperwork that you get from TVA right here when you own a floating house on Fontana Lake. This is the house that I just purchased. This is the dimensions of it here. That's my monolithic frame. This one had a front porch here, and here's the monolithic. It had no docks with it, so it was just a house, and they have it at 10 feet tall. 2 years ago, this house, I tore off the lake for a man that owned it. It was sinking, and so I got rid of it. Before you can rebuild a new one, you have to actually get rid of the old house. It has to be torn off the lake, documented, the whole 9 yards. And it's got a unique identification number with a placard that goes on it. It's all in a system. They've got pictures of it, so they keep track of it. I bought 360 square foot right here. This house is 30 feet long and 12 foot wide, and it's got a front porch area on it. So I bought 360 square feet of monolithic footprint. No docks came with this house.
So for example, sorry, excuse our mess. We live here. We've been cutting up driftwood. This center dock here, this whole thing is considered the monolithic structure. So if a person wanted to, they could take this wall, extend it all the way out here, and also extend it here. And as long as these are separate, you know, they're hinged, but as long as they're still separate, this is still by itself as the monolithic structure, and these are just the attached docks that equal up to the 400 square feet or whatever it is. So
now that the new rules and regulations are signed in, you can actually take this 360 square feet and manipulate it so you're not in a rectangle. You can go more into a square.
As long as it's the same square footage?
As long as it's the same square footage. This thing is going to be 18 by 20.
Okay.
All right, that gives me 360 square feet, but I've got more of a square to work with. A rectangle, it rocks real hard in the waves. So the first thing I did was I took their 360 square feet and I built me a 20 by 18. All right, Sarah's gonna put you a picture of one up that's the exact same size as this 20 by 18 and show you what that looks like built. The original house that I bought was only 10 feet tall. So from the top of the dock to the top of the house, that can be 14 feet now, which gives you access for a loft. Now, here comes the fun part, and it's tricky as heck. You get 400 square feet of dock to go with these houses. If this house doesn't have a dock, it can have 400 square feet added to it. And when you turn in all this paperwork, you want all this stuff done right. The first time, it's a $500 deal to do it. A lot of people say, well, I'll just make a 20 by 20. All right, so then you got a 20 by 20 square in that square. And I don't like to do that. I want to have access down the side of my house and off the front of my house. And that gives it a bigger approach. Now,
and protection from the wind on certain days when it's like you don't even want to be on that side because it's blowing so hard.
Yeah, you don't always want to be on your front porch. You don't always want to be on either side. You can get out of the wind and be warm or whatever's clever. But so when I build these, all right, so This is now my 400 square foot of dock space. I make this 4 feet wide here and 4 feet wide here. This house will slide into this dock and it actually attaches, all right? It's gotta be 2 pieces. Your open dock cannot be built solid to this dock according to TVA rules. Also, according to TVA rules, if this dock, this 400 square foot dock is one solid piece, they consider this open water square footage. Duke Energy does it. They only consider what makes shade square footage. So in order for me to make this work right here, is I have to make this a separate piece and this a separate piece. That way that's detachable. It'll never happen, but hey man, it's their rules, so we're gonna go by the way they wanna do it. So at the end of the day, I've got my floating cabin. I've got a side dock, and a front dock. Why are the rules like this? I don't know, but that's what they make me do when I build them. I build a couple of them and that's just part of it. I feel this is the best way to do what we're doing. The last dock we built had a pitched roof on it. We're gonna go with a different idea this time. We're gonna do something like this here. And that way we don't lose as much of our loft space. Our loft will actually gain a lot of space. If I'm 14 feet to the top of my roof here, my loft is only this much space. I've lost all this area here.
Yeah.
Because I am not the fastest carpenter in the world, I have a good friend of ours that is my business partner. He'll frame the walls, frame the roof, put the tin on the roof, and put the siding on the outside. And then Sarah and I will step in after he's done with that, and we'll do all the finishing on the inside from the studs out. Wiring, plumbing, solar, everything we're gonna do ourselves. But he is fast and he is good.
Yeah, whenever we built ours, we kind of found that, you know, although we saved a ton of money by doing it ourselves, there are in fact some things that are worth paying money for because they are just such a headache, or they take so long if you're not that experienced. This was one of those things, you know, framing walls was really not our jam. We made it work, but I think that it'll definitely be worth it to have a little bit of help in that arena, especially because we're behind on our build plans a lot further than we want to be because we've been waiting for this paperwork to come back from TVA. So the guy that's going to do our build, he's done one recently that we really liked, that we've gotten a lot of our inspiration for this house from. It's not exactly going to look like this because that's not, you know, the exact dimensions that we're working with, but that's kind of the idea. Obviously I'm going to like put ferns, and I hope to do little raised beds, maybe with like a trough outside, and have some more landscaping, maybe window boxes, because that's something we never really got into with our last house. So would love to do a little bit more greenery outside.
All right, so we'll move to the inside of this build. It's going to be laid out a little different obviously than our house because it's bigger, but let's start with one rule, and the only thing TVA cares about on the inside, where you put walls and all that stuff. If you build your monolithic structure completely out to all edges, even if you have your dock surrounding this thing, you have to have an egress of 24 square feet minimal. So we're going to do an entranceway right at the front that's 6 by 4. The plans are you walk in, the bathroom and the kitchen are all on the left side of this house, which keeps all our plumbing and our gas lines on one side of our house, so we don't have to deal with as much water lines, running gas, all that stuff over to this side. So we're going to do kitchen, island, refrigerator, sink, stove. All this will be countertop. Big windows here, big windows here. This will be our living room. Our bedroom's going to be in the back. It'll be about 8 feet by 10 feet. With an access to go into the bath, or an access through a door for guests to go into the bath also. Bathroom's going to be a little shorter than the bedroom because it doesn't need to be as big. It's only going to be 6 feet, so it's 2 feet in. So to give you kind of like what you would think of as a hallway door here and a door here.
And space for a closet, which
Yeah.
I'm super excited about.
So I'm thinking once we get done, I'm gonna build myself shelving here and here, depending, somewhere in here, maybe 2 feet out or 4 feet out. And we're gonna put all our solar panel, wiring, battery, stuff like that in here. The panels will be on the roof, of course, but we'll have a box here so that they're indoors. We don't have to go outside to mess with our solar stuff.
So at our current house, that storage box is back here. And over time, we have just figured out that, you know, every time that you end up needing to get in there, you know, needing to turn the generator on or something, with Murphy's Law, A, it is always raining, and B, it's always pitch black dark or in the middle of the night, and it just gets really old, you know? So I think having that inside will be a big quality of life boost for us.
Our loft area will actually be over this bedroom and bath, and it'll be a full 20-foot loft as tall as the ceiling. Haven't come out with how tall these walls are on the bedroom yet. Still got to work that out.
With the pitch of the roof.
But it'll be, yeah, with the pitch of the roof. I can't remember the math on it, but the builder's got that in his head. That way this loft will be huge. There'll be plenty of room up there for storage, guests, whatever happens. There'll be some type of ladder system that you'll climb a ladder to get into the loft. But the main thing is you want windows back here, so at night you get fresh air, and all your windows you want double hung so that they come down from the top, because all your heat stays in the top of the house. You want to make it escape. But most of your time is going to be spent when you're indoors in this living area. So big windows staring out at the national park, the whole 9 yards.
Kind of open to the kitchen so that as I'm cooking, we're kind of both still able to like hang out and be in the same room, just like we have now, but bigger.
So this gives you an idea on what the inside layout's going to be. And we should be getting our floats tomorrow, and we will be getting underway on this build to get it going, get it in the water. Hopefully 2.5 months, have it completed, maybe 3. Me and Sarah spent 12 hours a day until we got the last one done, so we'll see what happens with this one. As we get you further into this build and you start seeing how we do it, the one thing I didn't talk about was floats. The floats are encapsulated styrofoam. Every one I've ever seen is black. I don't know, they might make a different color, but that's what you have to use when you're building a new, or you're gonna have to replace the old styrofoam on your other one with these new encapsulated floats. You need to understand how you're building your house, because if you put too much weight on one side, it's not gonna sit even. And the way we design these houses is we use taller floats in certain areas and shorter floats in other areas. And it looks funny when you put it in the water, that thing will sit like this. But as you start building, your idea is all the tall floats start going down where the weight's at, and the short floats end up touching the water and start floating where there's less weight. If you build everything out of the same size float, when you get done, you're gonna end up bowing and doing all kinds of wild stuff to your house, unless you build metal frames, and then your house will tilt. We're doing wood frame dock, so.
Because it's cheaper.
Well, it's gonna save us some money. So everything has to be thawed out, but as we get into the build, I'll try to explain that a little more to you.
Okay, well that is it. So can't wait to get back with you guys next week and hopefully start putting these floats together and make some progress. So thank you guys again for everybody that's new with us, joining the journey. Cannot wait to share it with you guys. Super pumped.